So, been about 5 minutes. Hello, hello. Back with, or back at Heavensward. Um, Last time, we had dealt with the remaining tasks laid out by Sir Artoriel, the eldest son, or at least the eldest legitimate son of Count Edmont de Fortams. Following which, we went and freed Raban from his captivity under the Crystal Braves, preventing his execution, and learned that there is a very good chance that the Sultana is in fact not dead, thanks in part, or in whole, to the machinations of Lolorito of the Monetarists. Unfortunately, we could not see the saving of Nanamo through to the end, as the Horde, that being the brood of Nidhogg, began to amass for their invasion upon Ishgard. Learning of this and wanting to hopefully stop the massive bloodshed and potential total destruction of Ishgard, the Warrior of Light, in concert with Estinian, the Azure Dragoon, and Alphino, set out into the Korthus Western Highlands in search of Iceheart, that they may attempt to parlay a peace between the people of Ishgard and Nidhogg. Where even if they fail to broker a peace, they hope that they can at least buy the Ishgardian military enough time to get ready and avoid total annihilation. We begin our search in Falcon's Nest, wherein we learn very little of interest as we attempt to find and track down Lady Iceheart, as Lady Iceheart, or Yazael, is our only real means of bridging the gap between man and dragon. Failing to find Ysal, with the aid of the people in Falcon's Nest, we head out to the Convectory, where I am currently. The Convectory being a large group of dragon hunters, people who couldn't make their way easily through basic soldiering and being a member of the nobility in Ishgard, instead risk their lives and head out to the Convectory, hoping to earn honor and glory through the killing of dragons. So we arrive at the Convectory and begin asking around, and that is right where I left off last time. So, getting back to that, I may have erred in seeking the wisdom of these whelps. That's something else entirely. Honor, glory, men seek these things in battle. Alas, all too often they find something else entirely. Surely one of these people will have encountered heretics while out hunting. Pray speak with as many as you can, Arundel. Nay, I know of no heretics. Do you honestly expect me to keep track of every Retimo, Veramont, and Brennet that wanders in and out of our camp? Are there any heretics in the area? I have not the faintest idea. Why, a heretic could pass under my very nose, and I should be none the wiser. I hunt dragons, my dear fellow, the big ones. Forever do I scan the skies for sign of my prey. I care not for the miserable creatures that scurry upon the ground. Looking for heretics, you say? Why don't you go and bother or someone else, or someone. I've enough trouble keeping these preening fops fed and clothed as it is. 'Tis no business of mine what folk do with themselves out there in the wilds. Something I can help you with, my lord. Heretics, is it? Well, I've never seen one myself, but that ain't to say I haven't heard a thing or two. We would be grateful for any information that you can share with us. The gods know we've gleaned precious little from talking to the rest of these people. If it please, my lord, I'm Piraquet, a soldier by trade, though not much of one, if I am honest. If it weren't for the love of stabbing folk, that I took up the spear, I see. It weren't for the love of stabbing folk. No, it was by the order of Sir Janelot's father. Still, as long as they keep paying me wages, I ain't fussy as to what they have me do. Not everyone's as patient as me, though. Plenty of low-born lads who get pressed into service start grumbling before they've seen their second battle. And once they've got to thinking how unfair it all is, it don't take much for the heretics to turn their heads. From what I hear, the simple promise of freedom tends to do it. That may explain how Lady Iceheart was able to expand her following so swiftly. Sad to say, some of my mates gobbled down the heretics' tripe and asked for seconds. Told me they were off to the Western Highlands to light a signal fire. That's how you let the heretics know you're serious about joining their ranks, apparently. Send up some purple smoke and the bastards come to you. Is that so? Why then, I'm minded to set a fire. I'm not familiar with the building with signal fires, but how difficult could it be? If we are able to lure our foes to our position, then we must find a means of producing a signal of purple hue. As it so happens, I once heard the tale of a trapper who dropped the hide of a woolly yak onto his campfire. Aside from the terrible stench, the story also described in detail how the smoke from these smothered flames was tinged a deep violet. You are a monster hunter of some note, are you not, Arentel? It should prove a trifling task for you to procure a number of hides. We may need to burn more than one ere the heretics notice our beacon. Master Elfino, you and I shall gather wood for the fire. Will take the both of us. Both of us to find enough dry fuel in this frozen wasteland. Let us meet again at the Dreaming Dragon with the fruits of our labor. I had somewhat underestimated the effects that swapping over to a DPS partway through would have. And my meaning by that is the fact that, much to my surprise, I'm back to pretty much one-shotting close to anything that the MSQ has me killing. I don't imagine that will last overly long, but it's bought me some time from needing to actually pay attention to my abilities at all. I left Ishgard on a mission of noble purpose, and now here I am scrambling for sticks in the snow. How can my hands be at once so numb yet so sore? 'Twould seem that collecting firewood is a new experience for Master Elfino. His must have been a privileged upbringing. Ahem. Have you the hides we need? I did manage to figure out how to hotkey getting rid of that element. Funnily,
I should have known it would be you. Word reached me of a struggle with a small but well-armed band of trespassers. Forgive my comrades their hostility. Few come here uninvited, and fewer still with good intent. Now, tell me why you are here.
We wish to speak with you.
So, you seek to stem the Dravanian tide with talk? A romantic notion. If you but knew the truth, the spark which lit the flames of this animosity, you would understand the futility of your quest. Shall I relate it to you? The sordid history my gift has shown me. That which the Holy See has taken such pains to suppress. 'Twas more than a millennium past when an Elizan tribe first sought to claim the lands of Kurthas as its home. Unfortunately for them, Kurthas was already home to dragonkind, and they were not inclined to make way for the invaders. Thus did a bloody war begin. A war which might well have rumbled on until one or the other side was exterminated, had it not been for the resolve of a single woman. That woman's name was Shiva. While those around her fought and died, she attempted to parley with the dragons, and in so doing discovered them to be possessed of profound intelligence and reason. The great worm Heavensward, in particular, so enchanted Shiva that she found herself growing to love the creature, whom her people considered a monster. In the eyes of a near-immortal dragon, however, the fleeting life of an Elizan is as that of a freshly cut rose. Scarce has the flower bloomed before it begins to fade and wither. Such melancholy musings plagued Heavensward, who had found in Shiva an unexpected and beloved soulmate. He knew that all too soon, death would snatch her away from him. Unable to bear the thought of their separation, the maid bid the worm consume her, that their spirits might be entwined for eternity. Though loath to perform the deed, Hraesvelgr ultimately gave in to her plea, and soon thereafter the tale of their ill-fated love spread throughout the two warring factions. No more could they raise blade or claw against one another, knowing that the souls of their kin were so inextricably bound. In the days that followed, man and dragon learned to live in harmony, and together built a nation unlike any the world had ever known. For 200 years did this blissful age of peace continue, as it would to this day, had vilest envy not stirred in the hearts of the Elezen. It is said that worms owe their longevity to the boundless reserves of vitality found within their eyes. And 'twas in this belief that a traitorous band of knights deceived their allies of some 2 centuries, and took by force that which they coveted. Nidhogg, he who now stands poised to unleash his wormlings upon Ishgard, was the great dragon who lost an eye to Elezen treachery. And until he prizes it from the hands of the traitor's progeny, no amount of conciliatory words will stay his fury.
You are wrong, Lady Iceheart. Lest you misunderstand, I do not doubt your vision of the past. 'Tis true that Nidhogg greatly desired to reclaim the Eye. Indeed, it was for that very reason that I kept it with me as I roamed the land, attempting to draw him away from the city.
Hey, look, the Dragoon quest line.
Good
I was
gods!
wondering when I forgot when they were going to mention that.
Until recently, Nidhogg seemed unable to resist its allure and pursued me relentlessly. Needless to say, that is no longer the case. Now, it would seem he has fixed his attention on Ishgard itself, though he knows full well the Eye does not reside there.
You believe he targets the capital for another reason?
Nidhogg Engi,
I believe reason has all but left him.
only reason he needs.
Through the Eye, I feel much of what Nidhogg feels, and the dragon's thirst for vengeance will not be quenched by aught less than a sea of blood.
I'm a little worried about what my mic is picking up.
If Nidhogg is indeed lost to reason, might we not seek an audience with Hraesvelgr instead? He has thus far shown no inclination to aid in the invasion of Ishgard, and may yet welcome our efforts to broker a peace.
You still believe that a peaceable solution can be found? Very well. I will take you to him. Our road will lead us to Dravania, the homeland of dragonkind. There we shall ascend unto the clouds, where Hraesvelgr resides.
Here comes the road trip. Been looking forward to this bit. Move the mic too close, you can hear me breathe. Move the mic too far away, I'm fucking inaudible. There is no winning, there's only pain.
Is aught amiss, my friend?
You know,
I sense the many
no big
battles
deal.
are beginning to take their toll. Rest a while, and should you lose sight of us, Dravania lies beyond the mountains to the west.
Curious. The vestiges of thy mistress's blessing are not as faint as once they were. Thy will to succeed grants thee unusual fortitude. But will it be enough?
Okay, so as I was saying before that, I fixed the, not so much fixed. I found a way to toggle the little chat blocker thing, so I can actually, you know, see Novice Network and shit. And entertainingly enough, the solution was as simple as me googling it, and looking and figuring out that OBS is basic hotkey stuff. But suppose it is just a little knob of hypocrisy, as at least personally I'm rather irritated whenever I find people asking questions that can be literally answered in half the time by just entering it into Google. And here I was complaining and bemoaning something that literally took me less than 15 seconds to fix. So, you know, lessons and working on not, you know, trying to figure stuff out for myself and embody the things that I want to see the world do. Another largely hollow statements that sound vaguely philosophical. Be on your guard, warrior of light. With the mistress of the heretics as our guide, we may yet find that we are being led to our graves. No, wait, stop. We journey to the homeland of dragons, Zarentel. The scholar within me burns to see the sights, but the sights I have read about, as does the child within me, I confess. You are Zarentel, yes? Pray address me as Yzael if you wish. 'Tis passing strange, is it not, that fate should bring us together thus? Never did I think to walk alongside the warrior of light. But history is full of such unexpected alliances. Shall we make our way unto Dravania, then? The chill of the Western Highlands is unrelenting, and I would sooner be under the sheltering canopy of the Chocobo Forest. I have no small amount of things that I would love to ramble on about in regards to Estinian's characterization and the characterization of some other characters who are yet to come up. But unfortunately, going into it at all would either be spoilers or incomplete in the attempt to avoid them. So for now, at least, I will be holding off on my discussion of...
Beyond Abalathia's spine, the great mountain range that spans the continent of Aldenard from east to west. Into the deepening shadows of Som-Al, where lies the ancient home of dragonkind. To a land where the soil slithers and the skies seethe with sinuous shapes, they came.
But we can dismount it. That's good shit. But I will sate myself for the moment. By just again, as I state, frankly too often, that the writers really outdo themselves more often than not in this game, and so many of the characters are so beautifully written. We now stand on the threshold of Dravania. The path to Som Al will take us far to the west, beyond the embrace of the forest's branches. It will be a long and demanding journey, but I suggest that we take our rest at the village up ahead, and see that we are properly provisioned. There's a village here, but I thought these lands the sole domain of Dragonkind. Why would anyone choose to live in so perilous a place? The wild chocobos. Tailfeather was built by hunters who make their living capturing and selling the beasts. Their leader, Marischamp, is an acquaintance of mine. Being a gregarious sort, he will no doubt welcome our arrival, and he will also possess more recent knowledge of the roads we seek to travel. I trust there are no objections. Only to the ceaseless chatter. If we are to meet this acquaintance of yours, let us do it before Ishgard burns. I'm so sad I missed the dialogue. Pain. There's also something that I noticed during that cutscene with Yzael, in that, which I will hopefully be able to bring up before the end of the stream, but no telling for certain. It all depends how quickly I get through stuff, and how much I haven't forgotten about what's to come. But there was something that I think Yzael may actually be mistaken about, at least in part. I didn't recall. Oh no, why? Pain. Okay. Well, tan my hide and call me Leatherface. We have visitors. Oh ho, if it ain't the lovely Yzael. It's been too long, girl. That it has, Marischamp. That it has. My companions and I are on a pilgrimage to Som Al. Might we stay in Tailfeather a while and prepare the next leg of our journey? Of course, stay as long as you like. In fact, I wouldn't suggest leaving the forest at all. The dragons have been absolutely bleeding murderous of late. Forgive me, sir, but I'm not sure I understand. Do the dragons not bother you here in the forest? Bother us? Did Yzael not explain things to you, boy? You've seen them towering callum trees all about, haven't you? If you were flying above the canopy, you'd barely be able to spot the ground. And as you'd expect, the local wildlife's canny enough to stay hidden beneath the leaves, which is why the dragons do their hunting elsewhere, and we can do ours in peace. I see. Thank you for the explanation. You're welcome. Now, I know it won't stop Yzael here, but dragons ain't the only things you'll need to keep an eye out for, especially if you set out heading west. Estinian brooding in the corner. I've read widely of the world and its wonders, yet after taking but a few steps into the unknown, I'm reminded of how much I still have to discover. These hunters scrabble in the shadow of dragons for naught but the love of coin. Greed inspires courage and madness in equal measure, it seems. I'm glad to see I wish I could pronounce that. Marischamp is doing well. He's gonna tell me about bugs. I dare say you're wondering what could possibly be worse than dragons, eh? Well, I'll tell you, the bloody nath. They're what you might get if you crossed an antling with a megal crab and taught the thing how to walk on two legs. They never used to stray far from their hives out of fear of the dragons, but they've gotten a lot more aggressive of late, sending out war parties for mobs in all directions. They've even taken to harassing the Dravanians in their own lairs, if you can believe it. And when they venture into the forest, which is more and more, by the way, they certainly ain't afraid to come after my lot. I can only imagine how much worse it'd be to be closer to worse it'd be to the wow. I can only imagine how much worse it'd be closer to the Nath's home territory. Wow. That's unfortunate. Same dialogue. Twould seem that much has changed in Dravania. The Nath are not wont to cause such strife when I lived here. You lived here, in Dravania? Aye, 'twas in the time following the calamity. My family was dead, my home was gone, and I had fled from the bitter cold into these lands. I knew not the paths of the forest then, and wandered out from under the protection of its boughs. That was when I chanced upon Hraesvelgr. He had descended from his mountain lair to hunt for food. My exhausted mind could not contend with the sight of the majestic worm, nor the vision of the past his presence visited upon me. Thankfully, Mersichamp found my unconscious form at the edge of the trees and nursed me back to health, and in Talfeather I remained for some time. Hence your familiarity with the locals, but I interrupted you. You were saying these Nath were once a peaceful people. Peaceful would not be the most fitting description. They are a fiercely territorial tribe, and any who intrude upon their domain are attacked without hesitation or quarter. Outside the borders of their homeland, however, they were rarely hostile. Indeed, we were even able to trade with them on occasion. They have changed then. What of it? We have not the time to creep through the underbrush on some roundabout route. I say we make straight for Samal and crush any unruly insect we meet underfoot. A more direct path, then. Very well, let us follow the trail, west, out of the forest, and make for the statue of the Stained One. From there, we should have a fair view of the road that leads to Samal, shall we? I do like the Nath a lot. I think their design is cool. I do, however, find it unfortunate that the outfit that you can get from their beast tribe still has the weird shell thing on the back. It makes sense, I get it, but it'd be so much better for glamour if that wasn't there. They're also one of the beast tribes where I honestly don't know if their heads are shaped like that, or if that's their helmet. Because, at least based on the set you get from them, it might just be a helmet. And then there's another beast tribe in Storm's Blood that's like the exact same way, but like I don't know if we can see their face or not. Is that their face or is that just a helmet? In that instance, I believe it is confirmed that that's just a helmet, but like it is perplexing because we never see what they would look like under the helmet, and there's things on what I would assume is a helmet that I wouldn't really expect to see on a non-like apparel item, I suppose. And then I just kind of realized that like half the beast tribes in the game have some variety of mask they're always wearing. The sylphs have leaves. Except not all the sylphs wear the leaf mask things. And due to the nature of the sylphs, I can't even be certain they're actually masks. It might actually just be part of the body. Goblins always wear masks for entertaining lore reasons. Should we chance to meet Mersichamp again, reminded me to thank him. Had he not warned us to expect the Nath, I doubt I would be standing here. Amid ruins that I would tentatively describe as Ishgardian, the style, if not identical, betrays a definite resemblance. You have a scholar's eye, Master Elfino. This structure is, in fact, over 1,000 years old. It is a remnant of the age when our ancestors and dragonkind lived together in peace. You claim that this is evidence of our harmonious past. I was taught that these buildings were constructed by heretics. Oh. Sorry about that. in honor of your Dravanian masters. This rubble inspires no such awe in me. Stubborn fool, how desperately you cling to the false teachings of your beloved Holy See. Enough, both of you. You threaten the success of our mission with this incessant squabbling. Arantel, pray reason with these two. Grunt. Our goals are the same. Set aside your differences for now. The truth of the past will be revealed. I'm gonna go with that one. Our goals are the same would also be, like, in line with how I like to play my Warrior of Light. Quiet! Lest you forget our goal is to prevent a war which will claim the lives of Dravanians and Ishgardians alike. If we are to accomplish this, you must learn to tolerate each other's presence. Trust in Arantel's gift. In time, the secrets of history will be brought to light. Let that be enough, Estinian. You would have me keep my counsel until Arantel's visions confirm the truth? Very well, but bait me not. Our meeting with Hraesvelgr will likely provide the catalyst Arantel's gift requires, as it did mine. Let us press on. Dragons in the sky and Nath upon the ground. One must needs sprout eyes in the back of one's head to survive this land. These ant-men are bold to bring their war to the dragon's doorstep. Mayhap we should invite them to man the walls of Ishgard. Gotta stay in theme. Spy you the 3 great towers to the west. No. It's talking about that one. That's a tower. I don't know where you're getting 3 from. They're talking about like Sam'al itself. Anyway. Ishgardians know them as Annex Trine. The place serves as a roost for Hraesvelgr's lesser kindred. If we are to reach the peak of Sam'al, we must first beseech these dragons to open the way. But do not be disheartened. The one who leads them is a friend. Of rather more concern is a disposition of the Nath. Let us survey the approach to the towers and see if the path is clear. This music is so good. I think pretty much all the music in this game is just amazing. There's 2 towers. There's a 3rd one. There's no fucking way you could see it from there, but yeah, there's 3 towers there. I think in the entire game, from what I've heard, because there's like 3 places I haven't been, in the entire game, there's maybe 1 track that I'm not a fan of. And even then, it's only like the first 30 or so seconds. And it's in the most recent expansion. So we're not going to see it for a hot minute. And even then, it's only the day theme. So but it's, caveat upon caveat upon caveat of just... The Nath are fast becoming a nuisance. They would seem to plague our every step. I didn't see a single one. 'Twould seem the enemy of mine enemy is also mine enemy. Stunning commentary, truly. I did it again. There we go. 'Tis as I feared. The road ahead is teeming with Nath soldiers. Marashant did not exaggerate then. These beastmen have grown brazen indeed if they would threaten the dragons so openly. Do they intend to assault the lair itself? I pray they do not. Mighty though my Dravanian friends are, they are yet vulnerable to the Nath's muskets. There is no route save the one before us. Should the beastmen offer battle, we have no choice but to accept. So, oh, there's more? There's more. They're gone. Deleted. So, I recall that, last stream, I mentioned, my displeasure with the bizarre state of Warrior's, Surging Tempest buff, and how there's a 10 level period wherein the only way to get the buff is by using AoE skills, even in case of single target, yada yada yada. But I think worse than that is that I believe most of the DPS classes don't even get AoE skills for like ages. Like you don't get any AoE capability on Dragoon until level 40. Which is ridiculous. It baffles me that, because like dungeon design, all of it, is based around fighting packs of enemies, and the majority of jobs don't even get any multi-target capabilities until like almost the end of ARR. It's just one of those instances where they're really kind of forgetting about the early game, even as they try and fix ARR to make it more accessible and less tedious. There's still these little things, you know? The scale of the structure is nothing short of astounding, but that is only to be expected, I suppose, given the size of its occupants. A greater dragon approaches. Spooky. Totally got nothing to do with Midgard somewhere just hanging out. I take no pleasure in killing the Nath. 'Twas to avoid bloodshed that I agreed to join you on this journey. Well, it cannot be helped. We may proceed into the courtyard together, but leave the task of hailing its occupants to me. Then keep your lance on your back, Dragoon. On my word to the Warrior of Light, I shall start no fight, only finish it. You truly are beyond salvation. Come then. Nudge, nudge. Cough, cough. Totally beyond redemption. 100%. I think this is voiced.
Vidofnir!
Hey! My VA sense pays off again.
Ah, 'tis thee, little one. From above I did mistake thee for a Nath. 'Tis well I chanced to look again, or thou wouldst now be ash.
Dear Vidofnir, how I have missed you. Would that I had come sooner, and not out of dire necessity.
Thou art troubled. Speak that I might know thy plight. Thou wouldst have father admonish his brood brother.
I would end this war without further bloodshed.
How am I to believe thee, little one, when thine own companion beareth Nidhogg's stolen eye?
Have care, dragon, or I shall gouge out one of yours.
You forget yourself, sir. We are here on a mission of peace.
My sires will forbiddeth me from inviting discord to our home. 'Tis for this reason and no other that thou still drawest breath, knight.
Vidofnir, please. We must be allowed to convey our intentions to Hrisvelgar in person, with words of our own choosing. Grant us this favor, and open the way to Som Al.
Thou hast ever been welcome, little one. But I cannot grant thy wish. I am bound to remain here, and protect my kin from the Nath's god.
The Nath have summoned a primal.
Oh, Pog, I get to murder more gods. What a fucking
Pray
drooling.
excuse my forwardness.
Chomping at the
But
bit.
if we were to eliminate the threat to your territory, would you consent to Lady Izel's request?
Ha! Dost thou imagine thyself equal to the task? To succeed where dragons have failed?
If this fight's theme wasn't so good, I'd play the fucking battle theme from
'Tis beyond thee,
SMT3.
mortal. But thou art welcome to try, nonetheless. Only know that idle promises shall avail thee naught.
See, they I can forgive for not knowing about me because they're kind of out
It would
in the
seem we
middle of
have
fucking
no
nowhere.
choice but to make good on Alphino's offer.
But I am a renowned god killer,
I must
so
try every bid for peace breed yet more war.
I will also be taking note of every fight that we canonically fight alone, because as I was going through ARR, I realized that there were a few fights I attributed to us fighting alone, when in reality we didn't. When in reality we did actually call upon allies, because it's this constant bid to try and figure out just how powerful the Warrior of Light canonically is. The best way to do that is to watch the world spaces and see what enemies become standard enemies in locations as we go through higher level areas. That used to be bosses, like oh, it's a good example. Like how... No, it's a bad one. What's an example of one that's already come up? I guess Dusk Vigil Hard. I think that's what the dungeon is called. Oh, mistakes were made. Anyway, I think it's a Dusk Vigil Hard. Stone Vigil Hard. I guess Stone Vigil Hard kind of counts, because one of the bosses in there's like two of them, where before we could only fight one of them. It's not an ideal example. A lot better examples actually come up later in this expansion. But... Once more, a primal rears its head, and once more the task of slaying it falls to you. Would that I too possessed the Echo. I'm not going to talk about the Echo. They have things to explain there, even if it's out of source. But after Endwalker, the Echo kind of is a little muddled. By the Fury, must we now defeat a primal that we might treat with a worm? I do begin to see how you gained your reputation for surmounting the insurmountable. So, the Nath have summoned their god. Thus, in their mystery... Oh man, that's... one more time. And thus, in the mystery of their newfound belligerence... Thus is the mystery of their newfound belligerence laid to rest. Goodness. Are you not glad, Lady Iceheart? I thought you would applaud them for summoning a primal to further their own ends. After all, you did. I did not reach out to Saint Shiva to further mine own ends. I desired her strength only to forge anew the peace between man and dragon. But what a fool I am to speak of peace to you, a bloodthirsty savage who murders without thought or compunction. Enough, I say. If the Nath have truly brought forth their deity from the Aether, we must face it together, or watch our hopes fall apart. All now rests upon this primal's defeat. I may need a moment. Okay, we'll see where this goes. I thought I had more time, but if that's what I think it is, then suppose that this will be a substantially shorter stream. And for that, I apologize. But ere we think of confronting it, we must first study its origins. What is the nature of this god? What manner of faith sustains its existence? My apologies, you're right, of course. Let us return to Tailfeather and consult with Merishamp. He knows more of the Nath and their culture than most. Now, if I may be streaming, regardless of whether or not I'm ending within the next, 10 minutes. I very well may also be streaming again at, much later. Probably somewhere in the ballpark at about 2 a.m. EST. But we'll kind of see where that goes. Oh, yeah, that's what I was expecting. Unfortunately. Well, I'm just gonna land myself in Tailfeather, and then I think I'm gonna wrap things up for now. So, thank you for stopping by. Sorry that things had to be kind of short this time around, but I very well may be back later. And have a good one all.